Thank you, hon. Okay, everybody, so this is lesson 10, and it's the matrix protocol, matrix release protocol part 2. So we're just talking about recoding. So in all the corrections that I've given you a kind of a statement, which you can fluff out if you want. You can make it a little bit more detailed, as in, let's say people are clearing karma with 5 different people. You can name them. You could say, oh, and now we're going to clear the karma with her husband, her children, and her mother-in-law or something. Or you can just say clear all the karma. So it's really a little bit fluid as to how detailed you want to get. But to have an effective clearing, you don't have to name everything. But sometimes you've got a client and it just feels appropriate to kind of name those things, just to kind of really reinforce it. And sometimes when you're working energetically, it can be a little bit heady. One of you guys was mentioning that there were a lot of calibrations, and the client was saying it's a little bit numerical and stuff. So how you can remedy that is just kind of slowing down your own process and going into a little bit more explanation with each of these individual pieces within this protocol. So with the karma, you know, if you have somebody who's really advanced, you can go, oh, karma, 90%, I'm just going to clear it all. Boom, clear, recode, kind of like that. But if you have somebody who's more of a beginner who needs the support of you holding them and understanding what you're doing, then you can explain, well, karma, let's see who it is. Let's find out who it is. Let's cut all those ties. Let's clear all those stories, the content, and let's integrate all those lessons and gifts, and you can bring them in. And you can even go more extensively where sometimes I'll go into, I'll bring it into their inner earth level and their subatomic level and their DNA and their cells and body parts. And I bring the recoding into their chakras and because actually so you might want to do that at the very end, but intuitively, there might just be one particular clearing where you want to clear that ancestral stuff. Like if you get 99% ancestral stuff, and you know it's a lot of heavy ancestral stuff, and they kind of confirm that, you might say, oh, I'm going to clear all that ancestral stuff, and you might go through all the levels. So you have the option of going clear through the whole multidimensional matrix, multidimensionally, meaning through all realities kind of thing. You can do the fast track way, but then you might actually, when you go through and you name all the things and clearing all that ancestral stuff that's anchored in your earth level and your subatomic level and your cells and your bones and your teeth and stuff, it can activate a kind of an energetic release that they might feel in a more visceral way. So this is where you have to just be intuitive, because every client is different. Some clients you can just speed through it. And some clients, you just get you just slow it down a bit. So, yeah, and the same with the recoding. So I'm recoding, and you can name spontaneously. Like a lot of the light codes were just coming to me spontaneously, like, oh, diamond light codes. And then that became part of my repair team. Diamond light codes, the cosmic codes, the healing teams, and you might have some that you rely upon because they come through. Whatever comes through, you're not making it up. It's genuinely coming through. So you'll make a note of it. Oh, healing teams, never worked with those guys before. And then you might instinctively feel to call them again for the recoding. Or sometimes you don't know what teams to bring. You can test, or you just say, bring in whatever teams are needed to do the recoding. And the recoding is essentially that you've had some stuck energies, like you've, let's say, had trauma stuck in the field. You've now removed that. But that trauma, it's almost like a blob of gunk that's been in their system. And it's kind of distorted their wiring. It's kind of distorted the functionality of all the areas where it was placed. So once you remove that gunk, a repair work has to be done where, let's say, their health area was holding a lot of trauma, and now you've removed it. Well, you want to repair it and kind of reconnect all those wirings and reconnect all the functionality of like healthy health. Does that make sense? So this is just about the fluidity of your clearings and your recoding. Anyway, so we've done part one, so I won't recap it right now. We'll just go on to the next bunch of clearings. So let's just open the field. So if you guys just tune in for a minute, we'll just call in our spirit teams and our alchemical teams, and we'll open a field of magic and miracles, blessings, love, and gratitude. We call upon the infinite power, potential, and possibilities of the cosmic field and the now point of power. We ask for divine and cosmic protection for our work and for real-world tangible results and a reality upgrade as appropriate for each one of us. So let's just imagine that we're out in nature, in our very favorite place on earth, and we're standing in a circle together. We'll just begin by extending our energetic roots down out of our feet and allowing them to weave their way through the rocks and minerals in the earth until they reach the very core crystal of the earth, the heart of the earth. And our roots can just wrap around this core crystal and start to draw up that very magical but grounded energy, pulling it back up this root system and bringing it back into our hearts, our cells, our bodies, our beings, our consciousness, and our externals. A full multidimensional matrix filled with this energy. And then out of our crown chakra, our antennas start stretching up out into the sky, out into space, until they reach the core, the heart of the cosmos, wrapping around the heart of the cosmos, and then drawing down that cosmic energy, pulling it down through this antenna system and bringing it into our hearts and letting that cosmic energy just spread out through our bodies, through our consciousness, and out into the external expressions of who we are. And then we come back to our circle and we just start beaming love to each other and receiving all of those beams of love. And these beams of love form a sacred geometry of light, which has the frequency of love, and that is our sacred workspace. So we're just going to go into that workspace. Okay, thank you. Okay, so we're continuing on with your topics. And if you like, I don't know if you took a general calibration for your topic. So let's say you were working with money or health or a particular life situation. You might have done a calibration as to what level is the blockage. If you didn't do it before, you can still do it now. So you can just ask the pendulum, this situation, at what level was it blocked? And then do a calibration now. We've done half the process. Just test and see what's the difference between your starting point and having done half the process. So while you guys are calibrating, I'll just remind you what we did. We cleared the paradigm, which was the energies of what's gone on in that area. And we cleared the ghost imprints of you, so the old you, having the money problems or the health problems, whatever. Then we cleared all the trauma, and then we cleared the challenges, and then we cleared the mental level, so the beliefs. We cleared the emotional level, we cleared the behavioral level. We cleared gender patterns, racial patterns, cultural patterns, and religious and spiritual patterns. And then for me, the meat and potatoes of part one is the trauma, and then the ancestral patterns, the past life imprints, the parallel bleeds, and the karma. That's the real meat and potatoes of part one. So have you guys got a calibration there? Is there some shift between your starting point and what got done? Okay. Okay, so we can just hold those numbers and let's just go on to the next clearing. So as you know, all of these clearings can be standalone clearings. I think what you'll find is that this protocol is pretty all-inclusive. So you're going to want to use it in most sessions. And obviously you test, do I need to use it? But sometimes you just want to go straight for the karma. Like if somebody's going, I'm having a really bad relationship with somebody, the first thing you're going to do is check the karma. So these are all standalone corrections, as well as being one whole massive clearing and recoding program. Okay, so the next thing we're doing, so coming back to your topic, we're going to work on implants. So these are implanted crystals, geometries, hooks, cords, attachments, and consciousness mechanisms. Oh, Pete, don't tell me. Okay, let's see. They've redone the whole thing now. Level of trauma has increased since last week. Okay, so did something happen? Just ponder that. We won't discuss it now. We'll just go through the thing. But I mean, that's a strange occurrence, but something may have happened that activated more trauma. So, okay. So coming back to implants. Okay, great, Angela. Coming back to implants, this week I have a client who's really far out. She's really like, and she said to me, I have, what were they? Cubes. I have these cubes implanted into my consciousness. I've never encountered that, but I know that there are consciousness constructs that can be implanted into our consciousness. And I tested, and it was like, yes, you've got these cubes implanted into your consciousness. I once did a session, it was called, I think it was called a light body session. And the whole session, the man pulled out with his hands these etheric crystals that were in my consciousness. And he said they were placed there to stop me from evolving, and that it wasn't a total toxicity. It was there to stop me from evolving too fast, to sort of, and when he pulled them out, I had such a shift in consciousness. And right after that session, I decided to give up my 25 years as a musician and to go into healing. So it was like a really dramatic shift. Anyway, right now we're not testing to see implants, all your implants, but you could do that. But right now we're testing to see, are there any implants related to your topic? And this is something that's been placed in your consciousness, obviously on some level with your permission, like we're not victims of these things. So anybody getting some implants? And you don't need, again, with this, you can go into detail. You can go, oh, I've got crystals, I've got geometries, I've got hooks, cords, attachments, other things. You might have cubes, or you can just say there's some implants. Okay, Pete. So anybody have some implants in relation to your topic? Yes, implants got 90%. So what percentage of implants do you have? Yeah. Okay. 40, 20, Debbie 100, yes, P 80. Okay. All right. So that's really helpful just to give us a sense of what can be there. So let's do the clearing. So we call in the teams and we ask that all implants, implanted crystals, geometries, hooks, cords, attachments, and any type of consciousness mechanism which has been imposed on you to lower your frequency or hold this pattern in place, be completely cleared and removed and deleted from the totality of your multidimensional matrix and triple aspects. And we do this work multidimensionally through layers, levels, dimensions, timeframes, and realities and universes. And we ask the teams to come in and please recode and repair all affected areas, bringing them back into 100% alignment with the highest level of functionality in the affected areas relating to your theme. Please activate an anchor. Thank you. It's done. Okay, so if you guys want to test that. Everybody clear? Now, as you guys know, if ever this is not completely clear, the likely culprit is interference. So just give it a test. If you're not completely clear, just test if there's some interference. And if there is, we'll be coming to that in a minute. Not clear. Clear. Angela, great. Interference was cranked up. Whoa. Sylvia's a tricky one, definitely. Sylvia's got some complex stuff going on with interference, particularly, isn't it? So is it interference that is cranking it up? Yeah. Okay. We'll see. Well, we're coming to interference very, tonight. So we'll see if that clears it. Okay. Lots of tingling. Great. 100% drop to 40, and then ask the teams to clear the interference. Now drop to 100 to 0. Fantastic. Cool. Brilliant. Okay, the next thing is called explants. That's my made-up word, but I'm very comfortable with it now. But it's like implants are implanted into you, and explants are external. So they're like cages, traps, ceilings. A ceiling, like you will not, your expansion will not go above this level. This is how this is how high you go. It can be sort of booby traps, or it can be sort of black holes that you fall down. And, they're kind of odd things. And like my client, this lady, she would perceive them. She has a lot more inner sight than I have. So she would perceive them. I would more sense them just through the testing. So they're energetic obstructions placed around you, which lower your frequency and hold you in some kind of limiting consciousness. So just test and see if you have any. Sorry, guys, I've got a bit of hay fever, so apologies for all of this. Okay, 60% explants, 100%, 40%, 80%, 95. Okay. All right, so let's do the clearing. So we call in the teams and we ask that they 100% remove all explants, all energetic obstructions placed around you, including traps, cages, ceilings, black holes, boxes, and anything that holds in your energy and prevents you from achieving your goal, from clearing this old theme that you're working on releasing. So we clear and remove all of these explants, 100%, removing them from the totality of your multidimensional matrix and triple aspects. And we do this multidimensionally through all layers, levels, dimensions, time frames, realities, universes, through time and space. And we ask the teams to come in and bring in white light consciousness, the diamond light codes to heal, repair, restore, and realign your consciousness back to its original free and sovereign formation and direction in this area of focus. Activate and anchor. Thank you. It's done. Okay. Hila, no explants. Good on you, girl. Okay. Marsha, clear. Christian, 0. Remained at 70. Is that the interference still? Okay. No shift. Debbie, interference. Okay. Do you guys want to just quickly ask the teams to clear the interference really quick, like Pete did? And then see, when you clear the interference, it should automatically shift your original calibration. But sometimes, as we know, interference there can be a little bit more involved. So we'll look at that, but just see if you can do a quick clearing of the interference. No, it's not doing it. Okay. Okay, next, we're going to look at control grids. So control grids are collective energy fields that sometimes function maybe more on a mental level, sometimes more emotional level, and sometimes more on the energetic level. But they're collective fields which energetically entrain us into a collective state of low frequency. So here's some examples. Fear during COVID. Other examples, hating Jews during World War II. Like there was this interesting film I watched where in Hungary, it was a really integrated society. And then when the Nazis came in, suddenly the local population started turning on the Jews that they lived with all their life. So you get entrained into a control grid. Cancer is a control grid, the belief in cancer. Aging is a control grid. This is how aging happens. So we're energetically entrained into it. So it starts pulling the body in that direction. Poverty consciousness is a control grid. Fear around climate change, fear around the economy, any kind of fear is a control grid. Right now, the Israeli kind of mindset is a control grid. Victim consciousness is a control grid. I don't know if you guys can think of any other ones, but these are control grids that we can be hooked into. And yeah, they don't help. So can you just test? I'm just going to take something because I'm just too itchy. It's driving me nuts. Give me 1 sec. And if you've identified that you're hooked into a control grid and you know what theme you're working on, see if you can tune in and see government control grids exactly. Perfect. Anyone else? 30%. Anyone else? Should we test first overall? You can do that work, but right now let's just, I mean, obviously that's very interesting to do, to test all the control grids that you might be in and to do that clearing. But for now, let's just focus on our theme, just to, because otherwise we can spread out a bit too wide. Conspiracy, yeah, for sure. Financial control grid, yeah. Brilliant. Anyone else figured out, pinpointed which control grid you're plugged into? Scott, did you want to government control? Yeah. None. Okay, good one. But from point of view of not believed, and conspiracy, not being believed. Yeah, I think I understand you. I think I understand you. Financial, limiting financial. Right. So being seen as a conspiracy theorist, you mean like being labeled that? Is it that, Silesia? Not hearing you, honey. Oh, no sound. Okay. You can type it if you like. Anyway, all right. So let's clear these control grids. So we call in the teams and we ask that they 100% pull out any hooks, cords, anchors, attachments, crystals, geometries, and anything else that hooks us in to collective consciousness fields of low frequency, releasing us back into our own sovereign space. So please clear these things out from the totality of our multidimensional matrix in triple aspects, and do this multidimensionally through layers, levels, dimensions, time frames, realities, universes, through time and space. And we call in the teams to recode our system. Recode, repair, realign, reharmonize in alignment with our highest self, our highest purpose, and our highest truth, and our highest sovereignty. Okay, when you guys are ready, have a little test and see if those control grids that were relevant to this yes, I understand. Marsha, clear, great, cool. Debbie, clear, great. Clear, oh, big release, okay. 0%, yeah, clear, 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 great. So at another time, you could, and with all of these, you can do the work of just doing all the control grids, because here we're focusing on the control grids relating to your topic, but you could clear all control grids. That gives you so much more freedom. Oh, you do, sweetie. Are you okay? All right. We're just going to do some protection around you. We're going to do some protection. If everybody can just, let's just all focus our consciousness on Sylvia and just create a protective, a crystalline protective field around her. And this protective field has a kind of a charge so that any interference that comes towards her gets repelled, kind of like an electric fence. And we're claiming sovereignty in this space, that we want her to be sovereign and able to work without interference. Okay, let's activate and anchor that. Okay, let's see what happens. I mean, we're coming to the interference soon, so we'll see how that goes. But with you, interference is a theme in itself, isn't it? It's not just one correction in a big theme. It's a whole theme in itself, which you can work. You can do the full matrix release on your interference. But okay, so now we're going to come to curses, hexes, ill wishes, and evil eyes. So curses and hexes, pretty well the same. Ill wish is just somebody who's just, it's much more light. It's somebody saying, oh, they can go to hell, that kind of thing. And evil eye, do you remember when I said I was doing some work on the Jewish stuff and the evil eye came up because the Nazis were looking negatively towards the Jews? So that was the evil eye, is kind of being viewed in a detrimental way. So just test for this topic that you're working on if any of the energies that form this block consciousness are either hex, either a curse, ill wish, evil eye. Curse is 100%. Pete? Scott, 0. Debbie, 0. Okay, good. See, it's very variable, isn't it? Curse is Sylvia, 90. Okay. 30%. 50. Aha, there you go. 30% evil eye. Okay, so let's do it. So we call in all the teams, all of our teams, our personal spirit teams, our chemical teams, and we ask to please 100% clear and remove all hexes, all curses, all ill wishes, and all evil eyes relating to our topic that are anchored in anywhere in our multidimensional matrix, going from the inner earth level to the cosmic level and through the triple aspects. And please do this through all layers, levels, dimensions, timeframes, and realities. And we ask that the teams come in and please recode, reharmonize, rebalance, and restore all these affected areas, bringing them back into full functionality and into their original divine functionality and power. Activate and anchor. Thank you. It's done. Okay. Okay. Send to 0 point. Yeah. So have you guys cleared what was there? Is that cleared? No, not at all, Sebastian? Okay. Is there interference? Okay, so see if you can just do the quick teams, please clear the interference and see if it adjusts it. Remain the same. Will Sylvia, yeah. So just a note about the recoding and why, again, why I haven't given you a set statement, because if you have a set statement, it's a little bit robotic. I'm just going to say this thing that I've learned by heart. If you don't have a set statement, you actually tune into the situation a bit more and you engage with it a bit more, which means that your consciousness is more engaged, which means it's more potent. Do you know what I mean? Even though you're not doing the work, the teams are doing the work, but still you're bringing more presence. So, okay. So Sebastian, yes, there was interference, and did it clear? Yes. Okay, cool. Okay, now moving on to vows, promises, contracts, or agreements. And just to say, these curses, they can be ancestral curses. They can be curses that you've brought through from a past life. It's like my ancestors were cursed and I was born into this family and I'm carrying the curse forward of to not have any money, for example. Or there was one curse of a guy, and in his family, if you married somebody you loved, they died. If you married somebody you didn't love, they didn't die. So his father died, then his mother married someone she didn't love, he didn't die. But in this family, everybody that you married that you loved died. So that is a family curse. Okay, vows, promises, contracts, and agreements. So again, these can come from this life. They can be ancestral. They can be past life. Vows of poverty, vows of chastity, vows of suffering, promises to never marry, promises to stay poor, promises to suffer in order to grow your soul, contracts to whatever, agreements to whatever. So all of this. So for your topic, test if there are any vows. So you can do a general calibration if you like, vows, promises, contracts, and agreements. Or you can test them individually. Vows, 100%. Okay, Angela, 95 curses and ill wishes. Yeah. Blood bonds. Okay, there you go. So there's always the possibility that within a topic, it's a variation. So blood bonds. Yeah. 50%. 85%. Okay, and if you want, so let's say it's a vow. So then you can say, well, is it from a past life? And then you can say, well, how many lifetimes ago? Or was it a religious life? Or you can say, was it ancestral? How many generations ago? Mother or father's line? And then it was the Irish line or it was the German line, so if you like, you can go into more detail work. It just really depends. In order to achieve results, you generally don't need to go into detail. You can just do, let's clear all these vows, contracts, and promises and agreements. Why? Because you're working on the energy of it. Your intention is, I'm taking the energy of all of these restrictions, these agreements that were made by me or by my past life or by my ancestors, these commitments, and I'm just clearing them. So you don't need all the detail work. But occasionally it does come up that, sometimes it's like, oh, it's not clearing. So you can say, is more information, is it interference, or do I need more information? And they might say, well, you need more information. So then it's like, well, this is from your ancestral line. It's 5 generations back. And it's like, oh yeah, that's when my great-great-grandmother was murdered. So do you know what I mean? And then you retrieve the story, and that's useful for you. So, in the alchemical process, it's super flexible. Yeah, Pete.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I mean, working with the kinesiology, I mean, I will often ask, do we need more information?
Exactly.
I mean, because sometimes, I mean, you can work with someone and they want to kind of go into the story. It's like they're just like channeling in there, these little like, guys, we don't actually need to know. And it's actually quite nice for them when when they learn that they don't need to know, because it sort of says finally they can give up this, endless quest. And really, they're just wanting to go down more rabbit holes and then more rabbit holes and more rabbit holes. So it's actually, I think that's a very powerful thing. And, just that question, do we need to know? Is it necessary? And it can be really helpful to everybody in terms of the healing session and in terms of the client.
Yeah, and then sometimes people, I totally agree with you. And then sometimes people just feel a bit more held when they get a bit more of a kind of a human story to the whole thing, and they can also process it because, like somebody said, if it's just numbers and stuff, it makes sense to us, but it doesn't make sense to them. So they leave the session not really kind of knowing what went on. So if they're more of a grounded type of person, then those stories, okay, we've cleared that story from your grandmother and stuff.
Mhm.
So it just depends, and
Yeah, well,
that's what
that's where it's useful. I mean, but it's interesting when you do the energy, you ask the energy, and that really tells you whether you need to go into that or not. And effectively, if they need more, fleshing out, then the energy is going to say, yeah, we need to know. And
exactly,
it's a great sort of.
exactly, exactly right. So we need to do this clearing now, don't we? Okay, so we've got the vows. So we're going to call in the teams and we're going to ask that they completely 100% clear all the vows, promises, contracts, and agreements relating to the topic that you're working on. And to clear them out and anything else not mentioned, which is a sentence you can use a lot if you like to, anything else not mentioned. And let's completely release that from the totality of your multidimensional matrix, from your inner earth level to your cosmic level and through your triple aspects. And let's do that multidimensionally through layers, levels, dimensions, timeframes, realities, universes through time and space. And please recode, bringing all these affected areas back into 100% realignment, heal, repair, restore, rebalance, and return to full functionality in alignment with the person's highest self, their highest truth, their highest purpose. Activate Maker, thank you. So, how are those vows, promises, contracts, and agreements now? Clear. Marcia, cool. Scott, clear. Sebastian, clear. Pete, clear. Clear, felt that energetically, cool. Christian, clear. Sylvia, no change, Sylvia. I'm hoping the next one is interference. I'm hoping that this is gonna, but I feel that probably you probably need the full matrix release on just interference. In other words, all of these pieces. Why is there interference? Why is there interference relating to your ancestry, past lives, karma, blah, blah. Okay. So interference is an energy which blocks your evolution. It's kind of like a little bit of blocks your forward movement in some way. It can be as benign as somebody judging you or holding an old image of you. So that can cause interference. It's not like supercharged or super scary. It's just your old boyfriend who just keeps on thinking of you in a negative way or something. It can be negative thoughts people have towards you consciously or unconsciously. It can also be dead people sending you energy blocks to block your evolution, like a relative who does not want you to be free of the family trauma. And it can also be dark forces and aliens. So as we've said repeatedly, if ever you do a clearing and the clearing doesn't work, it's likely that it's interference. So here's the 4 methods. A, is there interference? And you could just say, yeah, there's interference. Okay, teams, please clear it and just see if that's clear. And sometimes that works. And what usually happens is that the correction that you were doing already just kind of automatically comes back to where it should have gone. You can identify, okay, is this a human interference? And if it's human, is it alive or dead? And if it's either one, is it male or female? And who is it? If that clearing doesn't work, then ask your higher self to speak to their higher self. And that usually is a little bit more potent. If that doesn't work, you can ask somebody who that person respects to have a word with them. And that usually works. So how I had that recently, I've mentioned this, but when I was clearing some of the Jewish stuff, my Jewish grandmother was blocking. And I asked her to stop blocking and she wouldn't do it. I spoke to her higher self and she wouldn't stop. And the reason was she's so identified with the Jewish cause, she wants me to stay in a state of Jewish suffering because that's what it is to be a Jew for her. And she wants me, she doesn't want me to be free. She doesn't want me to move away from it. She wants me to stay in the frequency of the tribe, I guess, as she understands it. So then I called in my father, who she really loved, and he said, hey, please stop it. And then she stopped it, but only for once. Then the next time I was working there, she was again. And then when she finally stopped, when my father got her to stop, his brother, her other son, started doing interference. And then when we finally got him to stop, then the Jewish cabal was doing interference. So there was this whole group of people who were invested in me staying in the consciousness of the wounded tribe, I guess. And my journey is to clear that. So, you know, you might have to do a little bit of unpicking. It might be a few layers and a few attempts. And so if you've gone through intermediaries like the highest self or somebody they love or what, then you can maybe call the teams, call your angels, call Archangel Michael, or call somebody that you relate to, call up one of your spirit teams and say, I call in the person from my spirit team who's best placed to go deal with this interference. Please have a conversation with them and ask them to release the interference. So if you guys would like to just test now, is there any interference? Oh, mainly AI. Okay. Yeah, and AI is one of the interference things that you can ask the specialists. If you're not sure who is good with AI, you call in the AI interference specialists. So let's just do this now. Test if you've got any interference related to your topic. And for someone like Nahila, who's got a lot of 0 calibrations, you can test off topic. Like just say, is there anywhere in my life where there's some interference at all? And then just do the clearing as normal. So the clearing would be, is there any interference? And just see if you can just clear it. Teams, please clear this interference. Clear, 0 point, and recode. And if not, this one is 80, and I think it's human. Okay, so if it's human, NEAA, you want to then go, is it alive or dead? And then you want to ask, is it male or female? And is it someone you know? And then you can always say, are they doing it consciously or unconsciously? And then have a word with them. If that doesn't work, then we go to the next step, which would be the higher self, or somebody that they would love and respect. And then obviously failing that, you've got to call in the specialists. Human, alive, and doing it consciously. Okay. Male or female, Angela? And is it somebody you know? Okay, so tune in. I'm sure you'll probably get it. But even if you don't identify specifically the person, you can just tune into the energy of the person and just say, I'm asking you to please stop sending me those energies. It's not good for you. It's not good for me. Please stop. 60% cleared easily. Okay. 90% alien interference, Scott. Okay. So how are you going to proceed with that? Are you going to call in the specialists? It's my mother. Okay. Have a word with your mother. See if she'll deal with you directly, or higher self to higher self. I mean, if you want to get the information, detailed information, you can, just for your own education and stuff. But in order to clear it, you don't. But yeah, you can. Perfect. Okay, that's good. My monad cleared the interference. Now, did it clear the interference that you've been going through this all of that? Okay, not the lifetime's worth of interference. And my kid's stepmother. Okay, all right. Today's only, but today's they've cleared it. The AI. Was yours AI? Yours is AI. And Scott's is alien. Okay. Okay, good. I have human, dead, female, consciously known to me, my mother. Okay. So have you cleared it? More than one female. Okay. So it's good to know who you're talking to or who's sending it, but it's not totally necessary to clear it. And also, I used to be really scared of interference. It used to totally bug me out. And then I just realized, like, actually, no. It's just an energy blockage. It doesn't have that much power over me. It's my mother in a past male life. Okay, yeah. Interesting. So see if you can clear that. See if you can clear it directly, or if you have to do higher self to higher self. Scott, you cleared it. Who was it, Scott? And you guys with the mothers, did that clear? Anunnaki, okay. Cleared for you, Pete. Yeah, so this is a really important one to get used to doing it, to just be really comfortable doing it and just to know the different steps, you know. It's like you try the easiest way, then you try the next level, then you try the next, then you try the next. Specialists would be the last, like the specialists. Friend Josh still alive from 40 years ago. Okay. Okay. And what level of interference? Was it just mild or was it quite strong, Marcia?
Am I?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
60%.
okay, that's quite strong for somebody from 40 years ago. Was this a boyfriend?
No, not a boyfriend. A friend. We had a falling out
Okay.
and it got very bullshitty.
Okay.
So I said, forget it. I'm not in this anymore.
Right. Okay, so I guess he's still got some energy. Still has some energy going.
Yeah, but it looks like it's cleared now. I had
Yeah.
a conversation with his higher self just now. Looks like it's cleared.
Amazing. It's cool. And so my niece and girlfriend and my partner's adult daughter. Wow. Okay. It's a lot. Is that clear now? Angela? You're working on it? Okay, so let's see. Has everyone cleared it themselves? Asked ourselves, yes, it's clear. I asked my mother, who is not alive, to help. Yes, exactly. You can ask anybody, alive or dead, to help. Okay, so do I need to do the clearing? Does anybody need me to do the clearing, or has everybody cleared their own interference? Put your hand up if you need me to do the clearing. Everyone's done it, haven't you? Great, great. Good job. Okay. Okay, the next thing is dark force portals. So while, Angela? Oh, can you check if clear? So I didn't see that. Okay. Is Angela clear? Are we testing 100% truth? Yes. Is Angela clear? Yep. Yep. Good. Good job, guys. A recreation program running? Okay. Can you clear that, honey? No. Can I clear it for her? Let's just see if I can clear that. So a recreation program, you guys know what it is, like the difficulty level. So I don't remember exactly what the command is, but we'll just say teams, please focusing on, let's all do it together because we know that Sylvia's kind of got quite a unique kind of thing going on with her consciousness where she's under attack a lot. So she's cleared it, but there's some recreation going. So we'll all apply our consciousness and we're going to ask the teams and the specialists to come in and please remove and dissolve all recreation programs which are blocking her ability to 100% clear for once and for all the interference that she's going through. So delete those recreation programs, 100%, clearing them from her inner earth level, her subatomic level, her DNA, her cells, body parts, body systems, and body functionality. Clearing them from her chakras, meridians, nadis, energetics, and electricals. Clearing them from her mental, emotional, behavioral levels, her energy body, rainbow light body, and her soul, her dimensions, her star, angelic, source, galactic, and cosmic levels. Clear. Let's clear these recreation programs from all external areas like her home, her money, her health, her relationships, her sense of self, her creativity, her purpose, and all externals. Clear. Let's clear them from all her inner aspects, including her identity, her ego, her personality, her inner child, her inner parents, her inner voice, her inner masculine and feminine, her inner archetypes. Clear. Let's clear it from all inner timelines, her past selves and past timelines, present selves and present timelines, future selves and future timelines, and her conception, womb time, and birth clear. Let's ask the teams to come in and recode her so that she's free of all recreation programs in this area. Activating anchor, thank you, it's done. Okay, the reason I went into detail was I just wanted you to kind of get a sense of what goes on when you do go into the detail work and just see how it kind of feels a little bit different and how it can feel quite thorough. And so it's kind of good to have to know it by heart. Although if you don't know it by heart, you'd have your sheet. You've got that laminate that came on with the very first at the start of the course, so you can just read the laminate and go through it. But pretty soon it'll start to land. Anyway, so Sylvia, permission to test. Do you currently have any recreation programs running? No. Okay, do you currently have any interference running? I'm getting a no. Are you getting the same calibration? Yes. Okay.
Wow.
Feels different. Okay. That's good. Just going to mute you there. Okay, fantastic. So now we're on to dark force portals. So while, yeah, I mean, I think there's maybe more work to do, but anyway, we cracked that little nut at least, you know. And it's good when we all work together, because what a strong field of consciousness when we're all working together, right? So dark force portals. While implants and explants are energy that are imposed on you, either imposed into you for implants or explants, they're imposed around you. Dark force portals are like kind of like tunnels which pull your energy down into the dark energies. So the dark force realm is just kind of a realm of dark energies, and they've kind of created a portal. Imagine a chute, or which drains your energy. So it's energy drain, pulling your energy, siphoning your energy, and going into the dark force realms. So I'd like you to test in this topic that you're working on, are there any dark force portals? Because that would imply potentially huge energy loss or a variable. Zero, Debbie, okay, great. Okay, chat. Zero. Scott, is that 90% for the dark force portals? Yeah, okay. Anyone else? Angela, 200. Pete, 90. Okay. I had yes, but then no movement for potency. What does that mean? You had some dark force portals, which resulted in no movement, no potency for what your topic, for what you're trying to achieve. No movement for no movement of the pendulum. Gotcha. Okay. Sylvia, yes. Okay. Okay, so you know you're losing energy. So kind of the dark forces are just pulling your energy in the area of whatever you're working on. Sylvia?
Yeah, sorry, something's gone wrong with my keyboard at the moment. I have a client who always leaves 2 or 3 dark portals when she goes.
She leaves them?
Yeah. It's like she brings them and she leaves them in my energy field.
Whoa, do you do protection before she comes for
Yeah.
sessions?
Yeah.
And still they get in?
Yeah.
Have you tested the permission levels? What are your permission?
Yes, I have done that. I've even done extra work on it.
And what are your permission levels? Is it 0 permission, or is it?
It is 0, yes. It wasn't in the past, but it is the last, I don't know, 6 months or so, it's 0.
So your permission levels are at 0, but every time
Yeah.
she comes,
Every
you
time.
these
Even
portals.
even if she just calls me.
Okay, so that's really interesting. So that tells us that we can pick them up from other people,
Yeah.
even without our permission,
Yes.
which is interesting. And you've
It's
got,
like being overpowered. It feels like something is breaking in me.
wow, okay. Um, right. So maybe it's just to keep on clearing them. I don't know. I'm not working with them all the time.
Mm.
And it's like you know more about them than me.
I clear and remove them and I seal them and I, you know, do all that. And yeah, they're fairly easy to clear in a way. I used to
Yeah.
be scared of them because they used to really suck me in. But now I just clear them. But it's just ongoing.
So that, I mean, we can talk about daily hygiene. It
Yeah.
could, I mean, I wake up every morning, I call in the Teams and I've got my pendulum and my board right there. And I'm like, what do I need to do?
Yeah.
And even with this protocol, you can just go through it and say, do I need to clear anything there? As a matter of quick hygiene today, do I have any dark force portals? Do I have any interference? Do I have any hexes, curses? Daily hygiene can be. But yeah, so the clearing is simply to please, so you ask the teams to please seal and heal the portals to the Dark Force realm and seal and heal all their causes, basically. So permission, I'll come to permission in a minute. So let's just do this. So Pete, Trojan horse. Do you want to explain?
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting if you've got a client who is coming in, and so you basically have a kind of sole contract or whatever to do a piece of work, but then they are bringing in something which is kind of almost deleterious. It's kind of like a Trojan horse in the sense that, you welcome them into your space, whether it's via a phone call, distant session, personal session, but then with that, in that context of, accepting their presence, then something else is almost like hitchhiking in. And the kind of perversity of it is that you would in theory be wanting to help them, or you would, they come to you, can you do a session? And actually there is something else coming in, and you would almost ask, is it this entity or whatever that is almost provoking the situation that they are then coming to you? It's like this other force is using that person, hold it, they're their instrument, and so and I mean, I don't know where you have to clear that, but it would.
Can I suggest something? Checking karma, checking karma, checking if it's beneficial for you to keep working with them. Is it beneficial to keep working with this client? Do we have any karma that needs clearing? Because if there's karma, that could be their way of like giving you a bit of a smack on the ass for something that you did in the past life, you see?
I have been asking her for 2 years not to contact me anymore.
Okay. And are they contacting you still?
Every day.
No.
Sometimes 20 times a day. It's relentless. It's
Oh my.
complete bombardment. Some of my colleagues are saying I should report her for what she is doing, because if I don't answer the phone call, she will turn up. It doesn't matter where I am.
Okay, so you're kind of being stalked by the interference and you're being stalked by women. So being stalked might be a theme to work on. Just generally, there might be some karma around being stalked. Maybe you stalked somebody in a past life, something. Because it's a kind of common thing. It's happening energetically and it's happening in the real world. So yeah, Trojan horse hits the nail on the head perfectly. Okay.
She's convinced I'm the only person who can help her, and I've been trying to tell her otherwise.
Mm. Okay, so should we do this clearing? Okay. So teams, please call up all the dark force portals within our multidimensional matrices, which relate to the topics that we're focusing on here today. And please seal and heal them, and seal and heal all of their causes at 100%. Please do this multidimensionally through layers, levels, dimensions, time frames, realities, universes, through time and space. Activate and anchor. Thank you. It's done. Okay. So for those of you that did have these portals, can you verify if you still have them? Clear. Great. Cleared. Good. So it's quite a very super quick little command, and it does work, just like you said, Sylvia. They clear easily. Clear. Yeah. Okay, wonderful. Okay, now the next one, just a couple about resonance. Clear, great. Portals two cleared, Sylvia, great. Clear, clear. Cool, okay. So now what we're gonna do is wherever you are still aligned to the old state. So let's say you're working on being broke. If you're still aligned to being broke and you're still embodying being broke and you're identified with being broke, we just want to clear that. So we can just, no worries. So we're just going to clear that. So can you just test how aligned what is your alignment to the old state that you're trying to clear? How much are you embodying it? And how much are you identified with it? So just for your own purpose, you can go through the 3 separate ones. But if you were working with a client and you're needing to move through things quickly, you can just get one calibration because it's one correction. So interestingly, 0% alignment with the old state. Okay, and Pete, what about your embodiment and identification? Also 0? So alignment, embodiment, and identification with the old state. 0, all 100. Scott, okay, great. Christian, alignment 30%, rest is 0. Okay, so you're still aligned to the old state, but you're not embodying it and you're not identified with it. 50% with each, okay. So you see how it varies, and it'll vary from theme to theme. So we're just going to clear these all 3 at the same time. So we're just going to say teams, please call up all alignment, embodiment, and identification with this old state, and please completely remove it 100% from my multidimensional matrix from inner earth to cosmic level and through the triple aspects. Please do this multidimensionally through all layers, levels, dimensions, time frames, realities, universes, through time and space. 0 point that, and please recode, repair, heal, realign, and return all these affected areas to their highest level of functionality and bring them into alignment with my stated goal for this session, for this topic. Activate and anchor. Thank you. It's done. Okay, now just verify. All down to 0p. Great. Okay, anybody else? Clear. Sylvia, clear. 0% now, great. Clear. Angela, 0. Okay. Okay, so that's good results for everybody. Now we're going to work with phase alignment, phase frequency, phase resonance. How much are you in phase resonance? In a sense, alignment, embodiment, and identification are kind of a phase resonance, but now it's a little less precise and it's more just your phase frequency. So if you're trying to get out of poverty consciousness, or trying to get out of ill health, or trying to get out of being alone or something, see how much you're still in phase with that thing that you want to shift out of. How much are you in phase with it?
I don't understand what you're saying.
It's like frequencies, two frequencies. These two frequencies don't meet. But when, let's say this is poverty consciousness, and when I come here, my vibration, and suddenly, whoop, we're in phase.
So we're aligned to it.
Aligned. It's alignment, but it's more, I'm looking at the whole frequency band rather than just identification, alignment, and embodiment. Those are kind of a phase, those are kind of aspects of being in phase, but now I'm looking at the whole phase frequency. How much are you really in resonance, like really vibing with the poverty consciousness or the, whatever it is? How much and then what we're going to do is we're just going to move you right out of vibration of it. Still 24, okay. Still, so is your main topic interference, Sylvia?
It's the main topic with 2 subcategories, yes.
Okay,
And
okay,
the most important one is my health, because my health gets affected by it.
okay, okay. So you're still 20% in phase alignment with interference. So we're going to try to shift that.
But not with the health, funny enough.
Okay. Sebastian, 35% with the old state, yeah. 50%, okay. Scott, 95%, okay. Okay. So let's do the correction. So we asked the teams to identify wherever we're in phase with the old topic, with the old consciousness that we're moving out of, that we're consciously working on moving out of, and actually physically move us into a completely new phase frequency, a different resonance completely. Bring us into resonance with our goal. Bring us 100% resonance into phase alignment and resonance with our goal. Activate and anchor. Thank you. It's done. It's a subtle one. The more you do it, the more you'll feel it. The first time we do it, it's kind of like, what is that? But I'm sure you'll kind of, it'll drop in just through practice, really. So for those of you that had some phase alignment, how is it now? So you're testing, am I now out of phase with the old state? Am I now in phase with my objective? Cleared and in phase with a new objective. Brilliant. Marcia, yes, this is very subtle, says Sylvia, but cleared and out of phase, just not in phase yet with my objective. Okay, okay. Yeah, cleared. Cleared and now in phase. Okay, interesting. The more you practice it, you know, sometimes I download these things and then I use them. And if I don't use them regularly, when I go back to them, I can't quite even understand what it is, you know? And so you just have to kind of dip in there and like remember, because it's a little bit conceptually something that you've downloaded when you're in a bit of a state of consciousness. And then you're like, what is that exactly? So this one, I'm sure you'll get it just through practice. Fully aligned, 100%, in phase with a new objective, Pete, brilliant. In phase now, brilliant. Cool. Really cool. Okay, now we're going to do some energy field repair. So you know that everything is energy fields, fields of consciousness. Your cells are fields of consciousness. Your health is a field of consciousness. Your money is a field of consciousness. Your ability to receive is a field of consciousness. Your life force is a field of consciousness. Your beauty is a field of consciousness. Like consciousness organizes itself into collective fields. And so when we go through trauma, shocking experiences, painful experiences, it damages the fields. At the limit would be that it would damage the field like a little bicycle tire, like just a little bit of like a tiny bit of air is releasing. It's not air, it's energy, but just that tiny, you're losing a tiny bit of energy there. In a more extreme version, you've gone through a big trauma and there's a tear or a drain, an energy drain or vortex. Or there might be like some kind of something wedged in the field. So here's the field of your health, and there's some kind of foreign object or consciousness object that's wedged there, that's holding it open, and you are losing energy. So if this is the field of your money or your health, and you're losing energy, what happens? I don't have very much energy to create my health. I don't have very much energy to create my rejuvenation, my beauty, my money, my future, my purpose, my cellular vitality. Like basically, if you got tears, you're losing power, you're losing vital force. It's going out into the ether, and you don't have the required amount of vitality to create what that energy field is there to create for you, which is health, money, blah, blah, blah. So what we need to do is we need to repair. And then we're just going to do a few additional tweaks, which is that when an energy field, let's take the energy field of your health. And let's say at age 9, your parents divorced and it was really traumatic and that affected your health. And so you started losing energy in your health. So suddenly, instead of being 100% vital, you started having some health issues. And then it's been like 40 years now that your energy field for health has been operating on 50% vitality, vital force. What happens is it starts to have some limiting beliefs and limiting identities, i.e., it starts to see itself as like, I'm a poor health kind of energy field. It's not what it would have been. If it had never been traumatized, it would have been like, I'm 40 years old, I'm in the peak of my health, and I'm really strong and vital, and I'm at my peak, like that. But because of this trauma that happened when you were 9, by now the energy field is like, oh, energy is really hard to come by. I'm not very strong. Health is really hard to achieve. I try and I try, but I just can't do it. So you have some limitations that you need to do. And then you have the main driver. The main driver is the core identity of this field, which in this case is health. And this guy is no longer in the driver's seat. He's maybe trying to navigate, he's trying to drive the car and create health from the back seat or from the passenger seat. So you need to get him back into the driver's seat, get him back into power and power up his engine. It's like that. So let's do some stuff here around the energy field of, if you're working on health, then the field you're working with is health. If you're working on money, then the field you're working on is money. If you're working on beauty, the field is beauty. If you're working on interference, then it would be boundaries, maybe. boundaries it may not just be one field. It might be boundaries, it might be sovereignty, it might be resilience. There might be there will be a few different fields. So with health, it's not just going to be health, it's going to be vital force, it's going to be self-esteem, it's going to be physical vitality. There's going to be, in every topic, you're going to have quite a few different fields of consciousness that you're working with. But you don't need to identify them all, and you don't need to do the detail work. You're just going to go into the repair. But just for today, because when we explore it, then we understand it. So just for today, choose one field, which is like the major field relevant to your topic. So if you're working on money, then do money. If you're working on health, do health. If you're working on partnership, do love. If you're working on beauty, do beauty. If you're working, whatever it is. And just test your energy field. And let's run through a few tests. So first of all, test, are there any little tears, little leaks, little tears and leaks? And just get a percentage. And just make a note of this. This is just for you. You're going to really understand this once you get your own personal calibration. And then see if there are any drains or vortices. This is where you're really losing a lot of energy. And test, get a calibration on how much energy you're losing. And if you're not losing any energy in this energy field, go to another one where you are. Like there'll be one energy field where you're losing some energy. So if you're working on money and money's fine, then it might be receiving, or it might be self-worth. So test the leaks, the little leaks and tears. Test the drains and the vortices, which are bigger energy leaks, and then test if there's a wedge. A wedge is like a foreign object that is holding a hole open. And a wedge could probably be a limiting belief of yours, or it could be trauma. So you could test that if you want to. I mean, this level of detail work, you're never going to do it, but it's just for you to really understand the thing. And once you know how much energy you're losing and how you're losing it, test what's the level of limiting beliefs in this field. So if you're working on your money field, limiting beliefs that this field holds about itself. I don't know how to make money. I'm here to generate money, but I don't know how to do it. And also limiting identities. So limiting beliefs and limiting identities. And then finally, the driver, which is the core essence of this field, which would be health, money, beauty, love, whatever. Ask if test is it in its power place, the driver's seat? Is it in the power place, driver's seat? And then test how much off is it?
Dominique,
Yeah.
I don't understand that question. What's the driver I'm looking for, say, in the health field is health or is vitality?
No, it's health. In the health field,
So
how much is
do
how much,
I have?
so you've got this energy field, it's got a job to do for you, and its job is to create health. But we know that it's being damaged and it's losing energy in various ways. And it's taken on beliefs and limiting identities. And all of this has had the result that instead of being in the command position of like, I'm driving this car, I'm in command of this car, which to generate health for my person. instead of doing that, I've been knocked sideways and I'm now in the back seat. So I'm kind of like meandering along. I'm not really in command of this health thing.
Okay, and how far out of command
Out.
is it?
Exactly. So
Okay,
yeah,
got it. Okay, thank you.
exactly. Thank you. Pete, amazing. Pete, tears 70%, drains 30%, wedge 100%, limiting beliefs 0, limiting identities was another one, and power place. Was that 15% off or 15% on? Okay, Scott, health, total of 10 gaps, 5 holes, 2 tears, 3 vortices, 1 wedge from trauma. Losing 70% energy, 10% limiting belief, 0 identities, and only 40% command of the, exactly. Okay, a lot of clearing done with money topic. I was working with cluster theme around this, i.e. lack, no resources, public consciousness, struggle. Do I do the money field with this one or the receiving? You test. I mean, ideally you would do, well, we're going to correct all of them, but you just test which one is best for you to test on. We're really just testing so that you understand what these different aspects of how the field works and why we do this particular clearing on the field in this way. And actually a really good thing to do is to repair all your fields. Because all of us have, so right now you could test what level of damage is there to all of my fields. Just what's the general calibration? Like our 100% would mean all of my fields are totally intact and working perfectly. 0% would mean there's a lot of holes, there's a lot of drains and stuff. On interference, there seem to be 2 landing points over your ovaries that connect to suction tubes, mini vortices. Okay, great. Okay. So that's a little extra information that generally we won't get to that level of detail, but it's really interesting. Marcia, 35 tears, drains 30, wedge 50, limiting beliefs 40, 35% out, no identities, no limiting identities. Great, Cleona. Field of health, a wedge 70%, limiting beliefs 50%, and out of the driver's seat. Are we asking how many fields are relevant? Great question. Thank you, Pete. Fantastic. I mean, to be honest, because the clearing says clear all fields relevant to what we're working on, you don't need to know the number. But yes, that's a really good question. How many fields are relevant for your topic? So it might say 4 fields, so you just tune in. So it's like health, vitality, beauty, rejuvenation, or, yeah, really good question. 70% overall, 5 fields. 5 fields are out? Yeah. 70 in the driver's seat and 60 off. What does that mean? Is that just the number? So we have zillions of fields, so it could be 70 are actually in the driver's seat and 60 are off. It's not necessarily a percentage, is it? It could be the number. Around your topic, yeah, around your topic, you could have 70 fields involved. Like if it was health, well, every cell is involved, you know, so we can have many, many fields involved. If you're working on health, the field of your cells could be involved, the field of your organs could be involved, the field of your blood, your hormones could be involved. If you were working on rejuvenation, the field of your telomeres, your biochemicals, 60% in the driver's seat. Okay, so, all right, let's just see. So are we just going to work on this for our topic? Yeah, okay, so let's do the correction. So the correction is teams, and we're working for this topic that we're working on. We ask that you please repair 100% or more all leaks, all tears, all drains, all vortices. Please remove all wedges. and repair all damage to the relevant fields for this topic. Please remove all limiting beliefs and identities within these fields and reinstall the driver, which is the core identity of this field, into its power place. Activate and anchor. Thank you. It's done. Right. Thanks, Pete. Okay, so can you guys just test and just see if your fields, I mean, you can just test quickly. You can just test basically, are all energy drains repaired, clear? And is the driver back in the driver's seat in its power place? And then if you're curious, you can test how much more potent is this field than it was originally. So if you're working on health or rejuvenation or what, or money, and your health was only functioning at 40% power, and now it's at 100% power, then that's really helpful. Clear, okay, Marsha. Clear, driver's seat, 100% more potent, fantastic. Clear, now 300 functioning, great. Are you guys tired? We're doing quite a lot of clearing today. We're almost done. Clear, in the fast lane now. Cool. So actually, this is a really good one to do just for your general fields. You don't need to go into the detail. You can just get an overall calibration for every field. Teams, please clear and repair all of my fields. Clear all limiting beliefs, all limiting identities, and bring all drivers back into the driver's seat, back into the power place. That does a full repair. Body physically turned inside, back in the driver's seat. P, wedge, there's power place 100%. Something up with the wedge. Okay, so then like this, you know, because this is the thing with alchemy, you always get these anomalies. So the wedge might be something you test. Is it something that I'm holding on to? Is it something that's coming from me? Is it something that's coming from outside of me? Is it interference? Is it trauma that needs specific attention? Something up with the wedge, interference. Okay, so see if you can clear it. So you see how it goes, right? Are you guys okay? I'm sensing everybody's feeling a bit tired, but how are you guys feeling? Are you good to continue, or would you like to stop here and just have a little bit of a sharing time? We still have, well, we still have a kind of a big little process called the bubble process. And then we have the Akashic records. So we don't have much, but if you're feeling really drained, we can just have a sharing. And we can continue next week, where we'd finish this up, and then I'd add a few other bits. What would you guys prefer? Sharing, yeah? Does everybody feel like sharing, or do you not feel like sharing? Does sharing feel good? Because there's no sense in getting too energetically drained. I'm quite tired. Sharing feels good. Let me just test. Sharing, permission to test, are we testing clear? Sharing? Guys, can you just test? Because I'm getting not sharing, but I don't want to push you, and I really don't mind. So can you guys just test with your pendulums and see what you get? Maybe they're saying, just come on, boot it till the end. Got not sharing. Yeah, I got not sharing. I mean, I suppose it would be nice to just finish this topic. I'd like to complete Continue, pendulum, go ahead, we're okay to go ahead, yeah. Okay. Okay. All right, let's just go for it. There's two more things. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now, just to kind of save time, is I'm gonna describe the next process. It's very quick, and it's called the bubble process. I'm going to put you into, you are going to visualize, or you're going to take your client and put them in a bubble of consciousness. And this bubble of consciousness represents the energies of the old state. Shall I just do it? Should we just do it? And then you'll have it on paper so you can read it back and you'll hear me as I do it. Okay, let's just do it. So if everybody's ready, go ahead and close your eyes. And imagine that you are in an energy field, an energy bubble of consciousness. And these energies are the consciousness that creates this challenge that you've been clearing. So within this consciousness, I'd like you to call up all the people who've been involved, people or aliens, entities, beings, organizations, governments, whatever. So all the beings, human beings that have been involved in your challenge. And we're talking about multidimensionally. So not only in this lifetime, but through all lifetimes and dimensions. And I want you to call them up and I'd like you to thank them because actually they were playing an important part in your learning as a soul. So just thank them. As irritating, as annoying as they've been, just thank them because they were doing exactly what they were meant to do. And now, all the experiences that you've had with this long-standing challenge, all the irritation, all the suffering, all the pain, all the limitation, call up all those experiences and just see them energetically in this bubble, in this sphere of energy that you are in the center of. And just thank all those experiences for everything that they've taught you. And now I'd like you to thank yourself for being such a rock star, for being so strong, for being so willing to explore this. Thank yourself. It's not for nothing. It's not by accident that this has been going on. You chose this exploration. So thank yourself for actually having the courage to go through quite a thing. And then I'd like you to thank life for being just such an amazing context for learning and growth. But now we are going to rescind permission. We are going to stop giving permission for any further experiences that fit this mold, that fit this energetic template. So in this moment, consciously make a conscious decision. I no longer give permission for this experience in any shape or form. So Marcia, this is what it means. I rescind permission. I no longer give permission for this. And what I want you to notice is that all of these experiences in your reality are energized by you. So I want you to pull back your energy, all the energy that you've been giving to keep this situation alive. Pull back your energy, bring it back into your core. And then I'd like you to just gently step backwards out of the sphere. And I want you to notice that when you stop giving permission and you pull out your energy, what happens to that whole template of experience is it starts to lose power and the bubble starts to get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until it's just a point of light. It's just information. It has no vitality at all. And we're going to take that little point of light and send it to Creator. Send it to 0 point. It's finished. It's done. And I'm just going to lead you through the very last 2 corrections, which are, we're going to call up all the Akashic soul records where before incarnation, you committed to this exploration. You're going into the library, you're pulling out the book of your theme, and you see all the contracts. And I want you to take your stamp and stamp done, complete, complete, finished, complete, done, lesson learned, over, complete, it's done. I've integrated all the lessons, it's finished. And when every sheet of paper of all of these contracts has been stamped, you can take the whole book, the whole commitment, the whole binder, and we're going to put it in the cosmic fire. It's like, well, that's finished. I'm no longer bound, I'm no longer contracted to continue exploring this theme. And we're going to come back to the library, but we're going to go up a level to the cosmic Akashics, and we're going to write a new set of contracts. And this new set of contracts commits you to your goal of health, of money, of freedom, of joy, of beauty, of rejuvenation, of whatever it is you're contracting to. So see yourself on the most beautiful parchment. Write out this new contract. And I commit to this new soul contract that I am now abundant. I'm now rejuvenated. I'm now free. So you can write those contracts. You can spend a long time on them if you like. You could do that in a ritual if you like. But just your intention, and your spirit team knows your goal very, very well. So just bring those contracts into your heart and let them anchor into your whole multidimensional matrix and triple aspects, so that every little part of you is holding the frequency of this new commitment to your freedom, to your abundance, to your health, to your goal. Okay. And now we're going to seal the field in a cocoon of magic and miracles, blessings, love, and gratitude, the infinite power, potential, and possibilities within the cosmic field. We ask for divine and cosmic protection, and real-world tangible results, and a life upgrade, an identity upgrade, a reality upgrade, and a cosmic upgrade as appropriate for you. And then we clear the board, clear the field, clear the pendulum. And as a group, we're going to disconnect and unplug our energy from each other, coming back into our own sovereign space. Okay. Okay, so I'd like you to just test if you've rescinded permissions. Thanks, Pete. If you've rescinded permissions, if you've cleared the old Akashic records, and if you've rewritten the new Akashic records. Scott. Is done? Okay. So now you could calibrate. You had your original calibration from last week where you started off, and now calibrate where you are now. So you're calibrating on one hand, how much is the old consciousness, that whole block consciousness still active in my system? And how much is the new consciousness still active in my system? So if it was money issues, you could say how much is the old whatever you want to call it, poverty consciousness or money challenges, how much is that active in my system? And how much is the new abundance consciousness active in my system? So when we finish the session and when we've sealed the field and we've unplugged our consciousness from the client, we can then just test, do our calibrations tests. So have we done the whole thing, or there can be some other pieces that need doing, although this is a very comprehensive protocol, but there can be old data, new integration to 90. Now just see, is it still going up? Because if it's 90, is it like set on 90, or is it still going to go higher? Old 0, new 100, great. And then test, is there any other work I need to do? Because you might have worked on money, but then you need to work on receiving. You know what I mean? So you might have done this whole protocol. Okay, so we actually have 11 minutes to do some sharing, so let's do that. We kind of found a combo way to get a bit of sharing and complete the thing so that we clear the protocol. Old 0, new 40%, but still going up. Yeah, sometimes it takes a while to go up. Okay, how are you guys feeling? More work to be done, Scott, but needs to be done in the physical. Okay, there you go. Good question. Who's sharing? Sebastian, 0, 100. Marcia, 20, still spinning. So your new is only at 20?
No, 20 old and still spinning for new calibration.
Your old is 20. So there's still a little
And
something.
there, yes, I got a direct yes on that, more to do. I think I
Okay.
know where it is too. I think I do.
Okay,
So,
that's
good.
yeah. Okay. Dragon team is dealing with them, Celicia. Great. Still working on interference, okay.
I think this idea of, like consigning the old Akashic records to the cosmic fire, I think is pretty wild.
Let's be done with that.
Because a lot of, I mean, what I've seen, I mean, in doing various pieces of work with the Akashic records, is that there's always been, in my experience, is something slightly precious, and it's been kind of like a little bit this and a little bit timid, and and sort of trying to work things out. But the idea of actually taking the book and just like consigning it, to say, right, actually we've been there, we've done that, and that's fine. Is very empowering. And I mean, the reason that I say this is because, I mean, after, I mean, basically about 3 years of psychoanalysis, there was a point some years after when I took my 26 diaries, because I wrote probably the equivalent of Proust's, À la recherche du temps perdu. I mean, basically, I took the entire lot and I put them in the wood burner and I just sent the whole lot. And it was a very, very powerful moment indeed, which I never thought I would actually be capable of. But there was a moment where it really sort of hit home. And I think that idea of doing this with the Akashic Record is an incredibly empowering. And I noticed that I'm just kind of so in awe of the Akashic record, and it's like, and everything I've heard about that is kind of taken me into a place of deference and out of my power. And so I really celebrate this. I think it's actually pretty crazy. I think it's amazing.
Yeah,
Really powerful.
because some people they make it their whole work and they want to do all the details, but I'm not a detail person. It's just not my skill set. So, I don't necessarily get all the details of your past life or your Akashics, but I just call up that consciousness. That's my approach, and it
I
tests
love
that
it.
it's yeah.
Yeah.
Super cool. Yeah, burning diaries is brilliant. I've done that before. It's fantastic. How's everybody else before we close off? How are you guys feeling? So we've done a whole block. And I know that we kind of rushed through those last two bits, but you have in the lesson plan, you have the explanation. And also in the thing that's there as your laminate, you've got this one sheet, well, it's a couple of sheets, but it's there with just the commands. So it doesn't explain the different bits. So it's about understanding the different bits from the lesson plan. And then you've got this one sheet, which just assumes that you understand all these different bits. And it just gives you the commands, which makes it, if in a session, much easier for you to remember what comes next and what's the command, basically. So at some point, things are a little busy for me at the moment, but at some point I'll try to make you a little video where I talk you through a matrix release, but kind of quick. So you could just call up whatever it is you want to call up, get clear on what's all the elements and stuff, and then lie down and I could run you through it for you to receive. So I'll try to do that. So how's everybody else before we close out the session?
I had, cause like mine was all health and healing, and at different points throughout the whole of today, I've felt random patches on my left side where all the nerve pain and the lack of sensation is, be sort of tingly or warm rather than cold. Things were happening on that side that I've not felt in 4 years. So that was interesting and
Wow.
strange.
That is good. So recently somebody asked about how long does the body take to regenerate? So that's that's a little bit of an interesting bit of information for us,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and there's you know, and there's other physical stuff that I need to do, like stretches and movement and exercise to get up to the 100% healing that I've been told I can get. But energetic wise, it's all done, and now it's just down to me putting in work here and now.
Yeah, I'd like to say that the matrix release, it's very thorough, it's very good, and you can use it for almost anything. But you know, sometimes there's a bit more, you know, and like those pieces, those 5 pieces we did a few weeks ago, those are also good pieces to check, because if those pieces are blocking, they would block your level of results from the matrix release. So I have written in your notes, check for reversals, check for archonic veils, check those things, because those things are the big blockers. Check for difficulty level where you're like what you had, Sylvia, where it was reigniting kind of thing. Anybody else?
And I just
Yeah.
say about the interferences. When
Yeah.
we first started working with our alchemical teams, there was one team that I didn't understand, and they looked weird to me. They were sort of see-through green with big ears, and I just didn't understand them. And very recently I asked to learn more about them. And today I see that they are the nerds that dismantle AI.
Cool. Exactly
Wow.
who you need. Exactly who you need.
They're so
Wow.
cool.
Wow. So if AI is your main, if AI is the main interference that you're going through, then
Yeah.
you've got to call those guys every day and have them clear out and protect.
Mm.
Fiona, what are you going to say?
Yeah, I had these dry eyes for years, and they told me it's a health thing. It's an aging thing, you know, it's part of getting old. And I just never believed that. But tonight they're healed. So I feel it's all, yeah, it's all fixed. So amazing.
You know, I had this client come to me who had done 19 rounds of IVF, and we did 3 sessions, and she got pregnant. And she was 6 months pregnant, and then her grandmother said something to her. Her live grandmother said something to her. She said, "Don't do this in the hospital because otherwise you'll lose the baby." And she lost the baby that day. So it was incredible in terms of like, wow, we did it. And then it was incredible to see the interference come in that way.
Okay.
But it
Totally.
just to give you the parameters of consciousness, like the body can go through 19 of these medical interventions designed to impregnate you, and it won't work. Why? Because of these energetics, you know, relating to childhood and feelings about parenting and stuff like that. Cleared that, then suddenly it goes, but then anyway. So yeah, I do think we can really shift the body a lot. And then, you know, we're all in these control grids of like, we live till 80 or we live till 85 or 90, and aging happens in this way. And if we can unplug from those control grids, I'm sure the body can extend its vitality for way longer, you know. In fact, there are cases. I mean, there's even a Netflix show about people who are living much longer. You know, so why is it? They'll be in a different kind of control grid. They'll be in a positive control grid of like, I'm 100 years old and I'm riding my horse and I'm tending my fields and whatnot. So that's a positive control grid, collective consciousness.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody else before we close?
I wanted to say one thing, and that is what I realized last week, and I found last week really tiring. I was tired all week.
All right.
But that I could finally ask myself the question, who's in charge today, Marsh? Are the archons in charge, or are you in charge today? Are you in charge about this? Are you in charge about that? And what's your decision about this, Marsh? It's really interesting to have those kinds of conversations with myself without the ceilings, you know, there's nobody else around here who's deciding anymore.
That's amazing.
Fabulous for me.
Yeah.
Fabulous. So
That's
thank you.
amazing.
Thank you all.
That's
It's wonderful.
amazing. Wow. Somebody else is going to say something before we close. Angela?
Oh, just quickly. I just know, well, we're talking about the like fields of consciousness and the control grids, and I was thinking about the cancer in a general, not for myself. I mean, some of you might have seen my post that I put on the on the page, but it's not just that. I seem to be the awareness of it. I've not had it, but usually everybody knows somebody. But in the most recent times, it's kind of very prominent. I'm not quite sure what that's about. My brother-in-law, my sister's husband, has been diagnosed with a terrible form of cancer and is now undergoing all this, like going to be months of treatment, and they're all devastated. I mean, I don't know quite what's kind of happening there. I also don't know whether I should do anything. I obviously have to test to see, because to do anything about that.
Well, you have to ask permission.
I have to ask permission, yeah. So there's that, yeah. But it's just like this awareness of it is in my life. Do you know, if you know what I mean? It wasn't before, and it's like with other people or people close to me, it's very, very sort of active. So I just, I don't know quite what that's about, but I just wondered if that was about being aware of, observing extreme situations, but not being involved, but not getting drawn into the terrible fear of it. Or
yeah, for sure. And as an alchemist, we're observing things all the time and trying to understand what's the underlying energetics. And it just sometimes takes us a while to unpick and understand. And when we do the work on ourselves, or we get the detailed work, would you agree that through the work that we've done, where you've tested yourselves, you've understood a bit more about how the energetic work and stuff?
Yeah.
And then once you understand that, it goes on much further from here, is that it's kind of a way of looking at reality, like you say, like cancer. So what could be going on? So, you never test or do any work on anyone without their permission, right? But you can, if you have permission, you can do some testing. If you were to test on your brother-in-law,
I test asking their higher self, or no? You mean, because I don't, but with the way things are, and I don't think they kind of believe in, I don't think they would be permission
Well, what
in
you can
terms
do,
of,
you can ask your guides to give you a template of somebody who has cancer, and it's not a specific person, and to give you some calibrations that are useful for your own understanding of what goes on with cancer, because it might point to some specific things. Like it might point to some specific emotions. You could do a whole testing where it says, you could say, here's my matrix release template. And you could say teams in a cancer thing. I mean, this is kind of the way I would work with things. I say, in a cancer situation of this matrix release, what is the thing that is the most relevant? Or give me numbers. What is the most relevant? And I might say emotions. So I'd say, okay. And then I'd say, okay, so the emotional component is the most potent in terms of cancer. And then I'd say, so what emotion? And then it might say anger or shame or pain or trauma. So it might give me emotions, low frequency emotions, trauma, experiences like abuse and violence. And you might map out in that way what is, I'm trying to create a protocol here. I'm trying to understand cancer because it's appearing in my world and I resonate with it. And maybe I want to create a healing protocol. So I need to understand it. So I need to explore it. You don't need to test on a specific. You can ask your teams to give you all the information.
but I would need, yeah, okay, yeah, I can do that. But also maybe see if it's past life related, generally.
All of
I'm
them.
sure it's many things. Environment and all this kind of thing.
Environment, yeah.
Yeah, many things. I don't know. I just wondered if, I know you have to have permission, but can it be permission from their higher self?
You really need permission before you go delving in people's consciousness. It's really just not ethical to be delving into people's consciousness without either their request or you suggest to them and they give you permission. We just don't do it. It's just not ethical.
Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah. I just, because there was in the past there was sort of things with different kinds of feeling where you could you're not fiddling around with the aura, but you just send whatever it was, whether it was Reiki or different healing.
I'll give you
to their higher, yeah.
A friend of this is kind of a heavy example, but my friend's teenage daughter was raped. And I tested, can I help? And it was like, no, the little girl does not want to be helped. Why? Because on a soul level, she's chosen an experience which maybe she wants to embody. And maybe she's going to be writing about this. Maybe she's going to be a healer around this. It's like, so when we have an urge to go in and fix someone, we have to look at what is it in me that is wanting to go take that away from her, to fix it for them.
Yeah, no, I don't want to fix. I just wondered if I could do anything, but like you said, maybe to ask, or ask if it's okay to ask.
But now I'm just expanding on this permission thing, because it was something we were going to talk about at some point. But it's like, what is it in me that is wanting to go take this away from this little girl? Well, obviously it's a fair point to say, oh, can I clear some of this trauma for her energetically? And if it had said yes, then I would have said to the mother,
yeah,
what do you think? Or let's discuss it. Should we do some work for her? It was like, no. And that correlates with how she's been, in that she's not really wanting any healings. Her mother's a healer. She's not wanting healing. So there's something about her that wants to anchor the experience. And you know that these traumas that we have are very often the trigger, like the spark, which then give us our purpose, So to go take that away from them without their permission.
Can you put a crystalline matrix around somebody?
Not without permission.
Okay, I just wondered if there's a difference with that. Okay.
I mean, the crystalline matrix is programmed to not go into someone's consciousness without permission, but still don't do it, or test around it. But we don't mess around with people's energies because we got to be ethical. Anyway, let's bring it to a close.
Yeah.
So next week, more interesting stuff, a big grid. So thank you guys so much. And if there's any questions or feedback, put it on the thread, because it's always so valuable for everybody. I will format this video and send it off to you guys tonight. And happy birthday, Cleona.
Thank
Happy
you.
birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, Cleona.
Thank you, Marcia.
Okay, guys.
Bye.
Guys.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, Dominique and everyone.
Bye.